Hello, everybody. This is Mercy with All Mercy Psychiatry and Integrative Care Podcast. How are you all doing? I am so excited that we are once more here again. Today, we're talking about career hacks and choosing the right career for you. We all know that it is very important to pick what is right for you, what you're talented at, or what is good for you. Or do we go for what will put bread on the table, even if you don't like it? Or another aspect of it, do we go for the careers that people picked for us, even if we are not comfortable with them? And today I have none other than, okay, let me have him introduce himself. This is the first time he's here with our show. I will let him introduce himself. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me here. My name is Brad Romero. I'm a licensed nursing facility administrator, uh, and I just kind of wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about how some changes in career paths will help you be a little bit more excited about what you do every day. Sometimes we don't always make the right choices and path when it comes to the career paths off the bat, but you know what? Don't be discouraged about it. Always be open minded. And this is some of the stuff that I've been able to use and come across that has helped me with the path that I'm in right now.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is packed with ideas today, and we always want to go with an original quote. I'm not sure if I have posted this quote yet or not, but I think I've kind of talked about it before. The who and the what, or the who or the what. So, what do you go by when you're choosing a career? Do you go for its values, for the qualities that are innate with you, or do you go for what kind of achievement you have chosen that career path? What do you look for? The who or the what? And that would send us straight to our first question. And I'll have him answer this question. It says, what are some key factors that contribute to successful career growth and advancement on today's competitive society?
I believe, having a good open minded, knowing people, getting those connections, be very communicative and open minded. When I mean by open minded, don't ever think that the only career path that there is being a firefighter, a policeman, a lawyer, and a doctor. There's other career paths out there that we haven't even heard of. And I think getting in touch with people and having conversations with them and learning other paths that are out there, it kind of into our interests and kind of helps us better decide what we're going to go into.
Right. And like he said, it's very important to choose well. Averagely, it has been said that people spend more time at work than at home. If you look at the statistics, traditionally it's 8 hour day at work. And in the past, it's assumed that you work weekdays and on the weekends you're home. That is not true anymore. Depending on the career choice or the path that you choose, you may be out of your house every day. Or if you're working remotely, you may be in your house most often. But even though you're in your house most often, are you interacting with family or are you working? Is also the question. So people spend a lot of time at work than at home. Even if you're at home, you may just be spending more time still working than interacting with the family. So it's very important that you choose well to create that balance and not just be seen as a professional worker, but also to be seen as that individual person or that family person. So asking you, what do you think people should do or look for when they are choosing a career path? What do you think?
I think it's whatever makes you satisfied. I think waking up every single morning and able to wanting to go to work. I think that the excitement of it, the drive, like what gives you the drive. If there's some paths that you're in right now and you just lost a drive, you kind of don't want to go to work. I mean, always be open minded on. There's other career paths out there. Do research. I think, waking up every single morning, and being excited about what you're doing, that kind of gives you that drive to want to go to work and want to improve, want to make more, I guess, become better with yourself and see if you can improve in that career path. I think that's kind of what, some people need to understand, that, just because you're in the path right now and you're not really satisfied or happy with it, there's other options out there.
Yeah. How can someone know, Brad? How can someone know that they are best fit for a certain role and go for it? Or do you think that it is important that people try to navigate other aspects or other careers or other resources before they find out their niche, before they find out that one that is for them? How can someone know that, okay, this will be good for me?
I think a lot of people don't really know what they're good at off the bat. I think, again, we kind of go with the idea of there's only a few career paths out there, but there's actually other positions and opportunities out there, and career paths that we don't know about. A lot of times, I think it's good for you to explore, communicate with people, ask them what they do for a living. And sometimes that gets your interest, sometimes, for me, an example, I mean, I would always talk to other people, and when they tell me about their career paths, because I would always ask them, what do you do for a living? And I would ask, how do you feel about that role? What exactly do you do in that role? And sometimes you get that interest, and you decide, you're like, okay, you start doing your research and seeing if that's a better fit for you, or just give it a try. Just because there's years that go by doesn't mean that you're stuck in the position that you're in. Don't ever feel stuck. Once you feel stuck, you just kind of, you're mentally drained. You don't really feel focused. You don't have that drive anymore. I mean, get into a field that you actually would like to wake up every single morning and love the stress. I mean, there's always going to be stress no matter what, but there's different kinds of stress. There's a stress that you feel like you've achieved something. I think be open-minded, pretty much.
Did you say love the stress?
Yes, yes. There's always stress. There's no such thing as no stress career. I mean, there is no such thing as that.
Even when you work for yourself,
Yes.
it's still a lot
Oh
of
man,
stress.
yeah.
There's always stress, no matter what we're doing, no matter what career.
Yeah.
I think, like you say, if you're doing something that you love, that makes you satisfied, you handle the
Exactly.
stress better.
Yes.
Can you share a personal anecdote of how you have successfully gone through a career hack and make it your own, make it be the one for you?
I think it's just kind of like, like kind of how I said, talk to people. I mean, there's times that you don't know about the paths that they're out there, and having conversations with them and asking them what exactly they do for their role. And, do your research. I think sometimes, once you do your research, and we live in a world now that all we have to do is just Google something, and study it and learn from it, be open-minded of learning other skills as well. I think that kind of helps out better your choice of career path. Sometimes you can use your previous skills and other career paths that you have been or you're in right now, and you can kind of see the other paths that are available for you, and that kind of helps you decide a little bit more if you want to go into that path. When you start doing your research.
All right. What we are seeing today is that, like going back to my quote, the who or the what, or the who and the what,
Yeah,
it goes hand in hand.
they do.
So, do you think people can be successful in building careers that they had to do, not what they wanted to do? Right. Maybe because of circumstances, what they wanted to do is taking longer. They have families to feed, they have other things going on. It's taking longer to achieve their dreams, and they had to do what they had to do to put food on the table or to be sustaining, and not have to do. Like, it's not really their choice,
Yeah.
but the circumstances made them pick that career. Do you think, even though it's not their choice or they don't like it as much, they can still build a career from that?
I think in any circumstances, always continue on the career path that you're in. Learn from it. See if you can learn to adapt to enjoy it. And if not,
Yeah, adaptation.
yes, learn to adapt to it. If not, always understand those skills that you're learning in that are the same skills that you're probably going to be able to use on the next path. So always, sometimes we just have to take a pause and start working, like you said, provide food for the families, and kind of have to stop in the path that we originally didn't, wanted to continue on going, but we had to stop somewhere to put food on the table. But sometimes just take it slowly. I mean, don't and nothing's ever like a sprint race. Life is not a sprint race. It's slow race. It's how you get there. It's not how fast you get there.
It's not how fast,
Yes.
it's how you get there.
Yes.
It's not a race. And even if you're racing with anyone, you're racing with yourself,
Exactly.
not with anybody else. Not with this. You're racing with what is in you that you have to give it out there. Because sometimes when we are not satisfied, it's not just because we have the wrong career. We may not be satisfied because we know that that thing inside, we have not unleashed it. Because we know that we can do better, but we are not. And you'll never be satisfied if you're not giving it your all.
Yeah.
So sometimes not being satisfied may not be that you picked the wrong career. It may just be that you're not doing your best at that career.
Yes.
And until your best comes out, you will be unsatisfied. People switch careers, pivot from one, navigate from one career to another. Do you have any advice on how people can effectively transition from one career to another?
Yes. Always be professional. That's one thing. Never burn bridges. You just never know when you'll need their help. Adapt to the newer skills that you're going into. Always study it. Don't ever feel discouraged just because you're going into another field and you come across somebody that their knowledge in that field are on a level 10 and you're just now starting a level 1. They didn't get to that level 10 overnight. They learned to adapt to it and they studied and they became better. So have that open mindset of it. Don't ever feel discouraged. It's sometimes it can be nervousing, going into a field that it's newer. But just do your best, continue on working hard. I think, eventually you'll get the hang of it. And if not, again, be open-minded. Don't ever feel like you're stuck somewhere.
That's good. That's very good. And especially when we live in a world where people work up until retirement age,
Yeah.
even after retirement, even after 65 years old, people are still actively in the work field because of maybe they want to, or maybe the circumstances push them to. And people start working at an early age too. Gone are the days where you see people just go to school until they finish with maybe a bachelor's or something like that. Then they graduate, then they start looking for work at age 20 something. Now you see young kids, as soon as it's legal, 15, they start holding a 4-hour job, a 10-hour job. 17, 18, they are fully in the workforce. And some of them have to work, not because they want to, but they have to. Meaning that there is a long time to stay at work.
Yeah.
Do you think that picking a wrong path or working at something that you don't like can affect your mental health or your overall well-being? What do you think?
I think it can, but then again, don't think of it as a negative. Always think of it as a positive. You learn from that field. Take the skills that you're able to learn and use it elsewhere. Again, always do your research. I don't think you should ever feel like you're stuck somewhere. Sometimes it's again, it takes time for you to actually open up your wings. I guess, and you could say, just keep grinding and don't ever look back at any of the regrets that you have in your past. Because think about it, once you start learning other fields, it kind of you start becoming open minded on I guess the field that you decide to go into. But yet all the stuff that you had done in the past has helped you get to that point. I know sometimes people can feel discouraged and, as being a waiter or a store clerk or something like that. But again, they're still skills that you are able to learn there. Again, a store clerk, you deal with customers every single day. I mean, waiters, that's the same thing. I think customer service is like one of the main things, dealing with people, being able to manage them. I think those are some of the skills that you're able to continue on in other fields that you decide to go into. But always be open-minded. Don't ever feel like you're stuck. You will only live once. I mean, working hard will get you to that next level. Be encouraging to yourself. Don't ever discourage yourself.
Don't negative self-talk
Yes.
yourself. And I'm glad you shared that. I want to relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a waiter before in a restaurant. It's a waitress, waiter, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In a restaurant. I have been a cashier before.
Mm-hmm.
So while I was a waitress, I knew that was not my destination. I knew that it was a bridge for me to cross.
Uh-huh.
I knew that would not be my destination. While I was a cashier before, I also knew that, okay, these are just steps that I'm taking,
Mm-hmm.
going to where I need to go. If I was working there being very discouraged,
Mm-hmm.
not giving it my all, I think I would have been very unhappy and very sad and anxious as well, because you're going to a place that, even though you know it's not for you or it is not your end, it is not the goal, but like you said, you can learn a lot from
Yeah.
there. And that will help push you to the next career
Mm-hmm.
level. Or when you are at the next level, you can still pick some of those things there.
Exactly.
That and I think that till date, I am still tapping into some tools from when
Mm-hmm.
I was a waitress
Yeah.
and from when I was a cashier, especially like you said, customer service.
Yes.
Big,
It's very
big
big. Yeah.
customer service. And not only that, and listening, paying
Yeah.
attention to what, because we are in a field where we constantly serve people. We
Mm-hmm.
are constantly serving. We are constantly open to the public. We want to feel like, okay, we are doing something for them. And I'm still thinking about discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Carry your work with grace. It may not be what you want to do, but remember that, okay, it may lead you to the next
Mm-hmm.
step. Go there with grace and be grateful that you have a job. Some people
Yeah.
don't have a job. So, the customer service part of it, and also, what are you meeting? What are the challenges that you're getting there, and how do you handle them? Which leads to my next question. What challenges do you think that people see at work a lot that makes them not wanting to deal with it or wanting to leave? What obstacles do you think people meet a lot that they have to deal with it or they don't want to deal with it?
I think some of the struggles that you can have in that kind of field would be the leadership that you're answering to. Sometimes that leadership might not be all that great, but don't ever feel like just because that leadership discourages you doesn't mean that you can't continue on doing better. I think you learn from that, learn from what you would do better in their shoes, and I think that should give you that drive to go on to the next path. I think that's what's given me the drive to continue on moving on as becoming a leader is because I've worked for other leaders in the past that just kind of aren't always like communicative, aren't really supportive. Some of the stuff like that, I take that in and I learn from it, and I want to continue on with that and implement that on my next path. I want to make a difference. So what is it something that you want to make a difference in, and that will help you move on to the next career path? I think that's kind of what helps everybody have that mindset and the motivation to push yourself to move on to the next level.
Have you always been a healthcare administrator, or have you navigated? What personal experiences do you want to share with people who are listening and going through this? Is this for me? Is this not for me? Is this the one? Is this not the one? But I'm
Yeah.
going to wake up every day and act like it's the one and go there and what personal experience have you? Were you born a healthcare administrator?
No, sadly, no. Again, a little bit about my past careers. I've worked in restaurants. I've worked in the kitchen as a dishwasher. I've worked in warehouses. I've worked in sales. I've worked and I mean, I guess that's about it. That's kind of some of the paths that I've gone into. But every time I go into those paths, I tell myself, what is it can I do? What can I do to progress to the next level within this industry? And I always give myself a time frame. Don't and that's just a goal of mine that I always do because that tells me if I'm progressing within that time frame and or do I need to go on to another path? You know, and that's kind of the decisions that I've been able to make in the past. But then again, you know, again, every single path that I've gone into, I've been able to take the knowledge and the skills that I've learned from those fields and use it to where I'm at now. You know, whether it's, like I said, customer service is one of the biggest things, you know, but also leadership skills. You know, I think that's kind of, you know, working under other leaders, it kind of, you start learning what you would do better. What's some of the differences that you will do? I mean, and that's kind of some of the stuff that I've been able to learn. And yeah, so I mean, some of the struggles that have had is I've told myself, you know, I'm going to give myself this amount of time frame where if I can proceed, I'll continue within this path. But you know, if that doesn't work out, that kind of discourages me. But you know, that's usually how, you know, you kind of break ties with that industry or that profession or the journey, I guess you would call it, and then just go on to another journey, you know. And that's kind of how I've gone along, you know, along the past in every single one of them. Again, communication, building relationships, you know, with other people, and asking them what they do for a living, and be like, okay, you know what, I'll look into that, you know, and see if that's something that I would like to be interested into.
Absolutely. I like when you said setting a goal and a time frame.
Yeah.
You're not just you're not just going.
Yes.
The wind go left, you go left.
Yes.
The wind pushes you right, you're like, okay, today is right.
Yeah.
You have your goal and you have your time frame. And this is very significant. Know what you want and give yourself that time. Set short-term goals and set long-term goals. With me, each time I have been at a job, especially professionally, I always have my resignation letter, especially in leadership roles. The first day at work, I'll draft out my resignation letter. So I did that like my last two jobs, the last but one job that I had. My boss came to the office, and the first day they were still giving me a tour and some orientation and all that. He saw my resignation letter. He just walked into my office and saw it. It was open in the screen. He's like, "What? You're resigning? You haven't even started?" I said, "Oh no, I'm writing it for when I need to leave." He said, "What do you mean by for when you need to leave?" I said, "You don't think I'll stay here my whole life, right?" He said, "So when do you think you would turn that in?" I said, "Oh, not right now. I just need it to be ready. And I need my mindset to know that this is not my destination. I will give you the letter when I stop serving this place or when this place stops serving me.
Exactly.
When I feel like I don't have anything else to offer, or when I feel like you don't have anything else to offer me, then it is time to cut ties. It may be 1 year, it may be 2 years, it may be 5 years. Who knows?" So going into a job knowing that you're not getting stuck, knowing your goal, putting a time frame of when you want to achieve that goal, I think is very, very, very important, like you say.
And don't ever feel stuck. Don't ever feel stuck.
Right.
Yes.
Don't ever feel stuck. And especially when you know that, okay, you can leave and still be able to live, to still be able to sustain your life, your livelihood. It's very important. And setting that goal also, I think it makes you hold yourself accountable as well.
does.
Because you're thinking that this is what I plan to do. This is what I promised I will bring to the table. Am I bringing that or not? That way you're not just feeling stuck and you're not feeling useless. You're also feeling productive. You also feel like, okay, I'm not just getting paid. This is why I am getting paid. I'm not just lobbying in the clock or in the clock, the time clock. This is why I'm getting paid. And it makes you wake up in the morning knowing that today I'm going, this is what I plan to do.
Yep.
This is what I plan to do. It can be very draining just driving to work every day and feeling like, oh, you're at work for 1 hour and the next moment you kept looking at the time.
Yeah.
Is it time to go home? Is it time to go home?
Or is it lunchtime? Yeah.
Or is it like
Yes.
so? And remember that most of this work is not isolated. Even when you work remotely, you still have meetings. You still have to communicate with colleagues, with your boss, or with your subordinates, things like that. How have you found networking helping in sustaining either that role or maybe the next role or maybe the next industry. How have you, do you think networking at work is can contribute to satisfaction at work or to growth?
Yeah. I think networking is always the main thing that, I mean, you're always constantly networking, whether it's just people at the store, if you run into somebody and you start having a conversation with them, that's technically networking because you have that mindset of, okay, hey, at least I have somebody to ask questions about whatever it is, whether it's like, hey, how do you mow your lawn, or hey, this person is in this career path and I want to know more about it. Let me ask this person because I'm in that position that right now that I want to start something different. I've been there. I've actually been there where I've talked to other people in the field that I'm in, and I'm just like, you know what? Let me have more of a conversation with them and see exactly how they feel being in it, and how long they've been in it, and what they've done to get into the field that I'm in. And that's what's important for those connections. Connections are you're always gonna have a connection no matter what. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us can think of something, whether it's a friend a connection, or somebody that you had met at a meeting or at a party or whatever. You have that in your mindset on if you ever have a hard time understanding something or want to learn something different or have somebody's opinion about it. You give them a call, you give them a text, and ask questions about it.
Right. I think networking is also very important because most of the time, guess what? Those colleagues at work we become very close with them because we spend so much time with them. We spend so much time. Whether you just see their names, I'll tell you this. I worked somewhere
Uh-huh.
where somebody, one of my patients, asked a question thinking that they were asking me. Like they called the office, say, "Oh, I wanted to ask Mercy about this," and that was rerouted to another Mercy.
Really?
So the Mercy realized that that was not her patient, but I was not available. So she went ahead and solved the issue. Then God emailed me and said, "Oh, your patient had this crisis." Guess what? We are very close today. We worked together remotely for like 2 years. And we met each other physically after 2 years. And we are still very close. To say that sometimes your work colleagues can become very close, they can become in your inner space. So that networking, until today, I still talk with some people that I worked with 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Even though I'm not in that role anymore, I'm not in that industry anymore, I'm not in that career anymore, but we still have that relationship. Some of them have moved on as well, some of them have not, but we still have that relationship. And networking, you never know where you'll find them.
Yes. Yeah.
You never know who will be. I may be your boss today, tomorrow you are my boss.
Exactly.
Or through you, another door or another lead may open for the next person. Who knows? I think networking is very important. But even though we spend all this time at work, do you think that balancing a work life or choosing a career where you can be able to balance work and your personal life, do you think it's good for your overall well-being?
Absolutely. I think balancing work and personal life is very important. It kind of sets that reset button on you every once in a while, especially when you feel overwhelmed. Again, it comes to being overwhelmed and being stressed out in any path that you go into. It's going to be there no matter what, whether you enjoy the work or not. I think, taking that PTO time off, I mean, it's always important. Having,
you earn it, take it.
Yes, exactly. You earn it, take it. But having time to yourself is always good.
I have seen people, and some of the PTO, some industries, it doesn't roll over.
Hey, that's more encouragement for you to want to use it as fast
And
as
some
possible.
people don't use it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is wrong? You earn it.
Exactly.
Take it. Take
Exactly.
it.
It's there for a reason.
It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because even the job acknowledges the fact that you need a break.
Exactly.
You earn it, take it. So not just about the personal time. Do you think that balancing the work life can also lead to career growth?
Yes, just because it gives you that whole reset. But even when you're on your own time and kind of balancing it out, you start thinking, okay, so is there ways for me to improve my skills within this industry, or do I need to go on to another path? Or even if it just kind of keeps that mindset going better. I guess you could say your gears are turning. And not feeling worked out, and not being having a clarity mindset. It kind of can kind of put you in a funk. And when you're in that little, the downhill of it, and when it comes to mental health, I think it can cause a lot of issues. You feel like discouraged, you don't feel motivated anymore. But if you balance it out, and sometimes it's difficult to balance it out. I get it, I do. But I mean, you gotta make time for yourself. I think that's very important. Whether it's turning your phone off, even if it's not a PTO thing, have like an hour or two to yourself. Go for a walk. Whatever. Everybody's different, so whatever helps you mentally clear yourself, then go for it.
I'm glad you talk about mental health.
Yes.
I'm so happy you talk about mental health because as much as a career can be financially fulfilling,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean that it can fulfill your overall well-being. It doesn't mean that it can give you that mental healthiness that you want.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you'll be at a good mental space. If you're overly anxious, if you have that career that you're overly anxious, if you have that career that makes you feel depressed,
Mm-hmm.
sad, you don't want to be there. The only thing you want from there is that paycheck. If you have that career that you're like, oh my God, why am I doing this? You're
Yeah.
constantly asking yourself, it's not even fulfilling you personally.
Yeah.
You're struggling every day and it's just going down the hill. It's just making you feel worse physically and mentally. Then you don't want to be there. Despite the fat paycheck, you don't want to be there. Now, we are not saying that you don't have to give it your best.
Mm-hmm.
Navigate through the career to see how you can make it not be too stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
That's where even like your performance review come in. Talk to a close person, talk to your direct
Yeah.
supervisor. What do you think I'm struggling with? Or I'm struggling with this. How do you think I can grow at this? That way you feel accomplished. That way
Yeah.
you feel fulfilled. You feel like you're getting productivity because once your mental health is affected, trust me, if you doesn't get that support or that help, or if you don't find the right career path, you're just gonna go down the hill. And when this was advertised, we have a question from the audience saying, how can mindfulness help in career productivity and sustenance?
I think when it comes to mindfulness in the career, that whatever you're going to, always be appreciative of the staff that you're working with, or the team that you have. There's going to be times that it does. There's going to be that places that you go into are going to need work. Figure out what needs to be fixed, come up with a plan. But also, when you initiate that plan, also understand that you're part of that team as well. Be a leader that you're at. Whether it's on the front lines, there's leaders everywhere. There's leaders that are at the front lines. There's leaders that are above you. Everybody has to answer to somebody. But showing initiative and being a leader and showing that you're part of that team, I think it helps everybody kind of work together. Everybody's ethics, all in one rhythm. I think that's the main goal, is getting people to work together. And I think the best way to do that is, don't be afraid to get in there as well. One of the things I've always tell my staff is, hey, I want everybody to know that whatever issues that you have in this building, or whatever struggles you're having, please let me know. I want to make sure you are aware that I want to help you. And then if there's something that we need to come with a plan, we'll go ahead and come up with that plan and see what we need to do to fix it.
True. And sometimes careers can be stressful because we lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
You know how you put all those things in your resume?
Yeah.
I can do this, or I have done this, now they
Yeah.
give you the same thing to do and it's challenging
Yeah.
because you've never done it and you've never even taken time to grow. Sometimes to be successful in a career, I tell you, is emulating what you were supposed to be doing at work out of work until you get it
Mm-hmm.
right. It's putting in that extra time. Go first, go early, talk to people, and hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Am I doing this? Is this until you know that you've given it your best and it's still not working? Then you can say, okay, maybe I'm not cut for this. Or sometimes even some personal issues may be what is holding you behind,
Yeah.
that you're not able to give it your all at work. So you want to find that mental health space and that career space where you have that balance to be able to give your all.
Yeah.
When you're at work, give your all. When you are at home, if you're not supposed to be at work, turn off the phone.
Yeah.
Be at home. Create that space in your mind and in your brain where you're taking a break from work.
Mm-hmm.
Be at home. If you're at home, be at home.
Yeah.
Spend that time, relax. Like you said earlier, push that reset button.
Yeah.
Push
Everybody
it.
needs it.
Everybody needs it. Everybody needs it. Because in today's world, very few people can live without working.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I got know exactly what you mean.
Very few people have inheritance.
Yeah.
Even when you have that inheritance, if it's only going out and it's not coming
Yeah.
in, there's bound to be trouble
Yeah.
somewhere. So very few people can live without working. So we've already established the fact that we will work. So choosing the right work, choosing the right career, knowing who you are, knowing what you can handle. Do not pretend. When we pretend to others out there, please do not pretend to yourself. Don't believe the lies that you tell people. Know what you can handle. Know your breaking point. Know that I can work from behind the scene. Know that I can work from in front of the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Know that I can work with people. Know that, okay, my limits are within certain boundaries. Sometimes you have to push yourself to see what you can handle and what you cannot handle. And until that, you don't want to give up, but don't feel stuck. Don't feel stuck. What other ideas you want to give to our viewers before you leave?
I would say, you are your biggest motivator.
Oh
You wake
yeah.
up every single morning, you look at yourself in the mirror, and you always, I do it myself. I talk to myself in the mirror. What am I doing? Am I at where I want to be at? You are your biggest motivator. Like an example would be, hey, when you go to the gym, who's motivating who? You are motivating yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror at the gym. Whatever decision that you want to make, just make sure that to have a positive mindset. Don't have a negative thought about it. We all we all fail, but just because we fail doesn't mean that's the end of it. Get back up and keep pushing forward. Have that positive mindset.
Mm, I like that. Like you always say, when you fall and you're so
Yeah.
down,
Mm-hmm.
you can only look up.
Yeah.
When you're at the bottom, you can only look up. So because you cannot go no further, so try and get up and keep going. Because if you don't pick the right career, you will forever hold yourself accountable. You will forever not be happy, not be fulfilled. You will always feel like something is lacking in you.
Yeah.
And that can bring down your self confidence. That can bring down who you are. That can even make you feel judgmental about yourself. That can lead to dissatisfaction with yourself. It can bring down your self esteem. It can make you so anxious, so depressed. And if your mental health is distressed, then your overall health will fall and crumble as well, just because you picked the wrong career. So, thank you so much
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you for all the ideas. We would love to have you back. Yes, we would love to have you back to continue talking about careers, because I know
Absolutely.
people will have many questions. The career field today is hectic.
Yes.
It's more than ever before. It's AI.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're competing not just with people, you're competing with the system.
Yes.
You're competing with the computer. You have to and they say we are using how many percent of our cerebral cortex? You have to try and make sure that you're using your cerebrum to the maximum
Yes,
level.
exactly.
So it is challenging.
It is, and it's a competition. It is out there, But again, people, exceed in life because they put the work into it. They don't just get handed it to them. They put the work in it. So if they can put the work into it, you can do the same thing too.
If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly.
And the difference, I believe, now that you're talking about it, the difference between making it easy or winning, being in this competitive world, is, are you putting the work into it?
Exactly.
Are you putting, because most of the time, come to think about it, industries do not hire you for the qualifications that you have.
No. They want to hire you because if you have that drive to learn and adapt to it and continue on learning and build those same skills and improve those skills, I think that's what keeps you moving forward and gives you job security. I think that, and not only that, but it also helps you mentally.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you're more positive with yourself. You see yourself succeeding. You see yourself going up the ladder. You're moving up in life. But when it comes to people that are already at the top, understand those people, they worked hard to get up there. And then again, there's somebody else that they're still trying to compete with up there.
Right.
There's always competition no matter what.
No matter what, there's always competition, and industries will hire you to see what impact you can create. They are not hiring you because, you have a doctorate in this or bring these degrees to the table. That's not what they're looking for.
No.
They're looking for, are you able to promote growth? Are you able to impact others? That's what they are looking for, and that's why they are paying you. It's not for your qualifications. It's for that growth that you will take them to the next level that they are paying you for. And find out what you're talented against. Exactly. Find out what you're talented, because talent, you just said something very important. You may be talented at something and become extraordinary at that thing. But if you don't have that drive, no matter the talent, you'll be ordinary. You'll be like the next person.
It's like they say, hard work always beats talent. Somebody might just automatically be smart with math, just per se. But if you study and work hard, you'll be able to know a little bit more than that person. And that's true though. You work hard. Hard work always beats talent. It does.
That's good. That's good. You may be good at something, or you may easily understand something, but if you don't push it, if you don't have the drive, it will be like the next person.
Exactly.
The extraordinary will not be there. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. And career paths, yes, I hope you already know this. It does affect your mental health. What is health without mental health? And here we always say, mental health is a journey. It's not something you talk about today and end it today. It is a journey. So let's take the wheels and ride well together. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.